Hello everybody. Yes, it's been a long time. I haven't uploaded a video for some time now, for at least a week. Okay, so there's something I want to talk about, something that's really grabbed my attention and kind of tickled me, which I find rather amusing and yet rather suspicious at the same time. But before we do, let me just talk about what I've been doing this past week or so. I've been overwhelmed by the speed at which the times are moving, the speed by which the world is moving. There is just so much going on right now, and I have been keeping abreast of all world events, and I've been keeping abreast of all what's going on and all the possible scenarios and how they can play out. I'm very much aware of it, but to be honest, there's so much going on, I'm just like really overwhelmed. And and I'm thinking, I think that I'm pretty sure that, you see, the next sort of 2 or 3 days, right? I'm talking from perhaps the 22nd, 23rd, right through to the beginning of October, especially around the 27th, thereabouts. I think there's going to be some shocking things transpire on the earth, things that will affect us all globally. Now, the key is to not be in fear, right? Fear is nothing but negative, and nothing good can come about from it. I do believe that the events that will transpire throughout this final phase of the timeline will ultimately bring humanity to a positive place, and the earth, alright, and consciousness. Okay, it's all for the good. But there's war going on right now, right? There's a war going on right in our midst that is invisible. Okay, it's not conventional warfare with tanks and guns and what have you, but there's very much a very sophisticated war going on. Okay, now I'm being very vague, okay, and that's deliberate because I don't want to get really into it because there's so much on it. And also, I do believe strongly that you should do your own research, okay? Now, there'll be those of you watching this that know exactly what I'm talking about, and there'll be those who are thinking, what the hell is he talking about, okay? If that's you, then do your own research and come to your own conclusions. I don't want to influence you. I do not want to influence your thinking. Check everything out, okay? Go to multiple sources, check out what's going on, okay? There are some weird things going on, and there's a lot of speculation going on as to how things can unfold, but I kind of want to, I keep my speculations, well, I haven't always done so, but right now I'm keeping my speculations private, because we don't have long to wait to see how the following week or two is going to pan out, okay, and then I can reflect on the past week or two in a week or two, okay. So anyway, without further ado, right, that all aside, okay, let's talk about this article that I came across that I just had to do a video about because it is really interesting, to say the least. Okay, I'm going to link you to it, okay. No doubt there's more information on it if you dig and delve a little bit. Okay, but we're talking about the moon to have no fly zones by the end of the month. Okay, so what's that about? Let's have a look. No fly zones will come into effect on the moon for the very first time by the end of this month. Why? Even buffer zones that spacecraft may have to avoid will come into existence. The reason? Avoiding any spraying of rocket exhaust or dust onto certain historical sites and artifacts on the moon. The historical sites are, of course, the Apollo landing site and artifacts present on the moon, and the recommendations are for preserving and protecting these historical sites. There are currently more than 3 dozen historical sites that preserve the more than 4-decade-old remains. Okay, now, the article goes on. It's not huge, right? It's only a 5-minute read, not even. Okay, so have a read of it. Okay. Now, obviously, this isn't a legally binding thing. I mean, it says that in the article. You know, this cannot be enforced. It's only out there. NASA has put this out there in the hope that it will be respected and complied with. Um, okay, but here's what I'm thinking. Right now, it says here um, there are currently more than 3 dozen historical sites that preserve the more than 4-decade-old remains. Okay, so let's now that's an interesting point. My question is, right, if there are precious, sentimental sites on the moon with little, you know, artifacts and some astronaut remains and food and what have you, whatever it is that's on there. I don't think that we're told the truth of all what's on the moon, but that's another story. Okay. Would it not make sense to implement, if you want to protect that and keep people away from it? I mean, who the fuck goes to the moon anyway? No one goes to the moon. Well, I'm sure they do, but that's another story. Okay. But according to like mainstream, okay, according to mainstream, no one goes to the moon, right? So, but here's the thing, right? Why didn't they implement a no-fly zone at the very start? Why now? Why now? That is my question, right? Okay, so it says at the end of the month. Okay, why now? All these years later. I mean, did they not think at the very start, you know, when the flag was put on the moon and you've got the rover on the moon, you've got various little things on the moon, you've got the astronauts' footprints and all this, you know, if they don't want it wrecked, okay, not that it will be, okay, but okay, let's suppose that there is the potential for some nation on a space program that they'll go up and maybe make a mess up there and maybe, you know, wreck it a little bit, alright? I mean, why didn't they say all those years ago, right, we want a no-fly zone there? I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to think up. Oh, okay, let's protect this. Let's have a no-fly zone. So now, all this time later, they're coming up with this. Okay, so it's a bit strange, I think, and it's a bit strange when we sort of you know, the timing of it as well. So they're trying to keep people away from the moon. Yeah, like we all plan to go to the moon. You know, and you know, we've got space being evacuated. Alright, we've got the International Space Station that's going to be evacuated. Astronauts are being brought down to Earth all at the same time. This is all happening at the same time. We've got space junk, we've got satellites falling to the Earth as we speak, that's going to impact the Earth in a few days. Okay, right, by the way, at the same time as, you know, Lenin's alignment and possible debris floating about from that and other comets that don't really get a lot of press. There's a lot of junk in space right now. There's a lot of bits and bobs floating about in space right now, more than usual. It's an unprecedented amount. There's also, you know, NEOs that are coinciding with each other. Alright? So, you know, there's a lot of debris right now. It's not my opinion. It's not hearsay. I mean, this is mainstream media stuff. Okay, check it out. So there's all that going on. Now we've got a no-fly zone on the moon, which seems pretty useless. So what's going on? What's going on? I mean, are they doing this now? Okay, so I asked the question, why now? Are they doing it now because there's greater capacity, there's more likelihood that people are going to start going to the moon. When I say people, I'm talking about institutions, you know, space agencies, you know, nations that are maybe looking into space exploration and research in space. You know, what are they going to do about the aliens? You know, how are they going to implement this no-fly zone? Are they going to like scramble jets, you know, to warn them off and shoot them? I don't know. Well, obviously not. But I found this rather amusing, and so I thought I'd share it. So I'm very interested in some comments on this video as to what you make of this, and how it may tie in with anything pending or any current situations right now that perhaps I'm not aware of. So let's have some comments. Thank you guys. Bye bye.